For most of us, driving is just automatic, right? We hop in, turn the key, and we're off. But what if I told you the most important part of any trip happens before you even start the engine? Today, we're going to turn your driver's seat into a command center, giving you total control over your vehicle and your safety. So let's dive in. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to create your personal safety bubble inside the car. Then we'll get you familiar with your vehicle's command center. After that, we'll run through a super quick pre-trip check that can save you from some major headaches. And to wrap it up, we'll look at how driving smarter isn't just safer, it actually saves you money and is way better for the environment.
All right, first things first, let's set up your personal safety bubble. Now, these aren't just little tweaks for comfort, okay? These are, and I'm not exaggerating here, probably the most critical steps you take as a driver. Why? Because they are your first and your best line of defense if something goes wrong.
So, to kick things off, I've got a question for you. When you think about a car crash, what do you think is one of the most common and yet most preventable injuries? The answer? Well, it might just surprise you.
It's all about whiplash. And check this out. A study found that over half, a staggering 53% of us, have our head restraints adjusted so poorly that they offer literally zero protection in a crash. The wildest part? It takes like 2 seconds to fix. Let me show you how.
So what is whiplash exactly? Well, it's that awful injury you get to your neck, head, or shoulders when you get snapped back and forth in a collision. It happens all the time in rear-enders, but the solution is literally built right into your car seat. It all comes down to getting the adjustment right.
Okay, so let's build this safety bubble. 3 easy steps. Step 1, your seat. You want to be sitting upright about 25 centimeters back from the airbag. This gives it room to work safely and lets you steer with a slight bend in your arms. Step 2, that all-important head restraint. Get the top of it level with the top of your head and scoot it as close as you can. That's your #1 defense against whiplash. And finally, your seatbelt. Make sure it's snug over your chest and sits low across your hips. That way it grabs onto your strongest bones, not your soft spots.
And look, don't just take my word for how big a deal that little adjustment is. A head restraint that's set up properly can be twice as effective at preventing injury. I mean, for a 2-second check, that's a huge gain in safety. Now, when we talk about passengers, especially kids, the stakes get even higher. Way higher. Using the right, approved child safety seat correctly reduces the risk of a child's death in a crash by an incredible 71%. This isn't just a suggestion, it's an absolute lifesaver.
The law actually breaks this down into 4 key stages. Let's walk through them. Stage 1 is rear-facing, right from birth until they're at least a year old and 20 pounds. Stage 2 is forward-facing, with a tether, for kids over 1 and over 20 pounds. Stage 3 is a booster seat, which is required until your child is at least 9 or they hit 4'9". And finally, Stage 4 is just a seatbelt, though it's still best to keep kids in the back until they're about 12. Following these stages just makes sure the safety system grows right along with them.
Okay, your personal safety bubble is secure. Now, let's take command of the machine itself. This is where you go from just being a passenger to really being a pilot. It's time to get to know your command center.
And your command center always starts with visibility. You've got to adjust your rear view and side view mirrors so you can see as much of the world around you as possible. The goal is to shrink those dangerous blind spots. And hey, a quick pro tip, if you have those curved convex mirrors on the side, just remember, they make things look farther away than they really are.
Next up, the gear shift. Think of it like a translator between the engine's power and the wheels. In an automatic, the car does the heavy lifting for you with park, reverse, and drive. Those lower gears, 1 and 2, are for when you need some extra muscle, like on a steep hill. In a standard transmission, you're the translator, using the clutch and shifter to pick the right gear for the job. Your hands have a few jobs they need to know by heart. You've got your get going and stay put controls, the ignition and the parking brake. Then you have your talking to other drivers tools, your turn signals, and your headlights. And a quick reminder on those lights, use your low beams at night when there's other traffic, and only flick on the high beams when the road ahead is dark and totally empty. All right, let's look down to your feet. This is super simple, but so important. Your right foot, and only your right foot, handles both the gas and the brake. Your left foot, it has exactly one job, and only in a manual car, pressing the clutch when you change gears. That's it. Speaking of brakes, you've probably heard of ABS, or the anti-lock braking system. So what is it? It's a system that stops your wheels from locking up and skidding if you have to slam on the brakes. If you ever feel the brake pedal kind of pulsing or vibrating under your foot, that's the ABS doing its thing, and it's what lets you steer around trouble instead of sliding right into it. Okay, dashboard warning lights. We've all seen this one pop on at some point.
It's pretty straightforward. The car's brain has spotted a potential problem with the engine. Don't panic, but don't ignore it either. Just get it checked out by a mechanic.
Now, this light, this one can mean two totally different things. If it's on when you start the car, it's probably just a friendly reminder to release the parking brake. But, and this is the really important part, if this light comes on while you are driving, you need to stop safely as soon as you can. It could be a sign that your entire brake system is in trouble.
So, now that we're pros with the controls, let's talk about a quick little habit that can prevent a big problem before it even starts. It's the pre-trip readiness check. Just think of it as your 30-second safety ritual.
Before you even get in, just do a quick walk around. You're looking for anything that seems off. Puddles under the car, a tire that looks low, dirty windows or lights. This simple scan is your first chance to catch a small issue while it's still a small issue, not when you're doing 60 down the highway. And once you're inside, the ritual continues with a final systems check. You're confirming your mirrors are perfect, you've got enough gas for the trip, and the controls feel right, especially that brake pedal. You want it to feel firm. Then you do a final check of your safety bubble and make sure everyone else is buckled up. Only then are you truly ready to go.
For our final section, we're going to shift gears from pure safety to smart efficiency. Let's explore how driving smarter doesn't just protect you, it can save you a bundle of cash and reduce your impact on the environment.
And why does this matter? Well, take a look at this. A study from the Lower Fraser Valley found that our cars and light trucks are responsible for almost 2/3 of common air pollutants. The way we all drive has a massive, massive impact.
But here's the good news. Simple changes in your habits can make a huge difference. By just avoiding aggressive driving, the jackrabbit starts and sudden braking, and instead driving smoothly at a steady speed, you can cut your fuel consumption by as much as 30%. That's a huge saving for you and a big win for the air we all breathe.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought. You've just learned how to check your vehicle to make sure it's ready for the road, but have you checked to make sure you are? Being a safe driver is as much about your own focus and mindset as it is about the machine you're operating. Thanks for joining me.